Good evening, everybody. Donald Trump has finally secured the Republican presidential nomination. And with that, just as we saw in 2016 and 2020, the Marxist-Dim national media has begun a disinformation campaign, a strident campaign against the president and his supporters. The national Marxist media, outraged at comments Trump made at a Dayton, Ohio rally last week, outraged because they wanted to be, not because they were listening to Donald Trump. If you listen to the Marxist national media, President Trump said there would be a, quote, bloodbath if he loses the upcoming election. Nearly every headline described his comments in that way. The Biden campaign pounced on the media-created hysteria, and they ginned it up and recycled it and built it into just full-blown propaganda, releasing a statement accusing President Trump of doubling down on, quote, his threats of political violence. He wants another January 6th, end quote. Wow. The former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, mean and nasty as ever, went on CNN and also NBC to compare Trump's comments to Hitler. Hitler finally
He's even predicting a bloodbath. What does that mean? He's going to exact a bloodbath? There's something wrong here. How respectful I am of the American people and their goodness. But how much more do they have to see from him to understand that this isn't what our country is about? Praising Hitler, praising the Russians. Honestly, condemning our soldiers for losing or dying in war or being captured in war. It said, what's wrong with Russia? They defeated Hitler. What about the millions of Americans who risked or gave their lives? What about him saying that soldiers buried in Europe, he didn't want to visit them because they were losers?
Nancy Pelosi, as I said, just as nasty and vicious as ever, and she's lying to the American people. Her question was, how much will the American people put up with? Well, if they put up with any more of these Marxist-Dim lies and propaganda campaigns, God help us all. President Trump promised a bloodbath, the horror of it all. Well, is that what he really said? Well, no, it isn't what he really said. Thankfully, like everything else these days, President Trump's remarks were caught on audio. Let's watch.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine.
You heard it there for President Trump, that bloodbath. It's if you will, a figure of speech. And there's nothing that the Marxist national media love more than twisting everything possible into their propaganda campaigns. They lie and they lie some more, and they will continue lying to you. These are the same people who pushed the Russian collusion nonsense for 9 years now. They report back to it every once in a while. And they told us the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real. 51 intelligence veterans, by the way, swore that on a stack of Marxist. I guess the Marxists don't have Bibles, do they? Never mind. The Marxist national media can lie all they want, but the American people can see Trump's true statement. He was talking about the bloodbath in the auto industry if Joe Biden is elected again, and that is a true statement. Biden has pushed electric vehicle mandates and green energy. He's trying to break the country. He and the rest of the Marxist Dems and their mandates want to phase out gas vehicles in favor of electric vehicles. All of that would benefit China, of course. The CCP accounts for 60% of global EV sales, and that is only expected to rise. So, of course, we will see a bloodbath in our industry, our auto industry, if Biden's radical policy were allowed to continue. That didn't stop the national media from continuing to push lie after lie about what was a straightforward statement by President Trump. Even today, here is, oh yes, we had to have Joe Scarborough with us for this. Here is Joe Scarborough and his made-for-TV wife, Mika, pushing the outright hoax.
He's talking about a bloodbath for America. It's laid out in the terms of it. And these idiots on Twitter, these idiots on cable news, these idiots on Sunday shows going, well, presidents, you know, he was talking only about the auto industry, and this is one more. It's just bullshit. Let me say that at 6:15 a.m. It's just bullshit. He knew what he was doing. We're not stupid. Americans aren't stupid. He was talking about a bloodbath. Sometimes a bloodbath means a bloodbath. And when he finishes by saying, and that's just going to be the least of it, seriously, these people may be stupid. We're not.
Joe, his hair is afire. My goodness, he's got those folks on MSNBC, dullards they all are. They're waking up hard on Joe and Mika. Joe wants his audience to believe that President Trump will call for blood in the streets if he's elected, or any number of other terrible things. But here's a question for Scarborough and the rest of the MSNBC media hacks. Where were they when the Democrats called for political violence throughout Trump's term? Were they outraged? Where were the condemnations for statements like, well, how about these?
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face, and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And of course, there were no condemnations from the Marxist Dems about those outrageous statements that their fellow Marxists were making, because the national media agreed with every single one of them. It's not about rhetoric either. All of a sudden, you're not allowed to use the term bloodbath in a rhetorical sense unless, of course, you're a Democrat. Here's a supercut of Democrats using the term throughout Donald Trump's presidency.
But as Politico.com reports tonight on the, quote, bloodbath at the RNC,
headlines calling it a, quote, bloodbath.
Be a bloodbath. Not only is it going to be a bloodbath, but after they leave New Hampshire, it's a bloodbath on her home turf. That's really tough.
Trump has left a lot of corpses in his wake. I mean, we can count the bodies.
As part of the, quote, MAGA drive to take over Maricopa County. And the headline refers to it as an impending bloodbath.
Columnist Charles Blow has a new piece for the New York Times entitled A Biden Bloodbath.
2018 midterms, you can bet that they 100% are fearing a slaughter. In fact, the word bloodbath and massacre come up frequently.
The Republican Party will be destroyed. It's going to be a bloodbath.
There's going to be a bloodbath one way or the other.
Bloodbath for Bernie Sanders.
It's been a bloodbath. They're shaping up to be a bloodbath.
Head off a bloodbath in next year's crucial midterm.
Off-year elections are often a bloodbath.
This week's bloodbath for Democrats.
A bloodbath at the ballot box.
There could be a Republican bloodbath.
They'll talk about a bloodbath.
It's a bloodbath. I have to talk about you. And
It's going to be a bloodbath all day long.
Is in for a bloodbath.
Hasn't been a bloodbath on the way down.
Donald Trump bloodbath.
Be a bloodbath.
Predicted to be a bloodbath.
May not be the bloodbath.
It would be a bloodbath.
More of a bloodbath.
It's going to be a bloodbath in November.
Possible Biden bloodbath this November.
A bloodbath on Wall Street.
There's going to be a bloodbath
in Alabama into a bloodbath.
Obviously, there was a bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath. We're down 800 points.
This bloodbath at Department of Homeland Security.
and it's a bloodbath today.
There was going to be this bloodbath.
Election bloodbath.
It could be a bloodbath for them.
Bloodbath, possibly.
Bloodbath that went through with the Attorney General.
Bloodbath 99 days out.
The bloodbath is going to look like
Presided over a bloodbath in the diplomatic corps.
Absolute, in my opinion, bloodbath. The Democrats are
calling it a ticket sales turned into a bloodbath.
Ticket sales for singer Taylor Swift's latest tour.
It's safe to say the fans had a bloodbath for the company after the fiasco.
Well, it's safe to say that all of this is about lying. Lies by the Marxist Dems, the national media, a deliberate attempt to mislead the American people, to misinform the American people, to build a propaganda campaign into votes against Donald Trump, however they can do it as we approach November 5th. The Marxist Dems and their allies in the national Marxist media will use every lie, spread every bit of propaganda they can manufacture if it, in their minds, at least weakens Donald Trump even at the margin. But of course, it doesn't work. It won't work. It hasn't worked. The American people have seen, well, more than 8 years of these propagandist lies, and I suspect they've had more than enough. And I'm delighted to tell you, joining us tonight for a reaction to all of this is the host of the Dinesh D'Souza podcast, author Dinesh D'Souza, Great American. Dinesh, thanks for being with us. Let's start with the bloodbath. It's so clear that the Marxist Dems are not in the least concerned about overreacting to anything. They see this as a great propaganda opportunity, and they're making, my goodness, the most of it possible. Your reaction?
Well, the actual comments of what Trump said are downright benign. I would say even dull. They don't have the same high energy as Trump's normal statements. And the word bloodbath is used metaphorically. It's very clear from the context. Trump is talking about the cars made in Mexico. The Chinese are involved. They're trying to sell them here on the back of the American worker. I'm not going to let that happen because if I'm elected. And then he goes, if I'm not elected, it's going to be a real bloodbath. So contextually, it's pretty obvious. He means that the economy, the country, the auto industry will be in ruins. Now, what's amusing about this is that people who use the word bloodbath routinely, the stocks went down in 2008, it was a real bloodbath, or the Chicago Cubs should really not have gotten in with play the New England Patriots, what a bloodbath. I mean, this is just a normal use of the term. If anybody other than Trump had said these exact same words, it would be uneventful. But because it's Trump, so I think the revealing thing about this is it is an indication of the degree of Trump derangement syndrome. If Trump says things like, we're going to kill it in November, they'll be like, he's out to murder people. That's the way they look at Trump. They do not have an ability to do normal, intelligent interpretation because it's Trump.
Absolutely. And I for years resisted the idea that there was such a thing as Trump derangement syndrome. It seemed to me to be too easy an excuse for the left, for the Marxists. But there truly is this impulse that drives them because they are so frightened of this man. He scares them so much, particularly after 4 years in which he managed to bring the economy to a level of prosperity not seen for 3 decades. He managed to put together a modest foreign policy, which had been the objective of both Democrats and Republicans for years. He actually did it. And it only took him a couple of years to do it. He is a man who has a proven record. He is a man who has a clear-cut philosophy, and it scares the hell out of them. When he says America first, they shudder. They cringe in fear because that turns their entire world on the left upside down, doesn't it?
Well, I agree, but I don't think that's the reason that they fear him. Because look, you could have a Republican that was in office, had a very good record. See, the Democrats and the left and the media, they believe that every other Republican is under their leash, by which they mean that this is somebody that can be controlled. Mike Pence can be controlled, Nikki Haley, but also Marco Rubio. You just go down the list. And with Trump, they are just baffled because here is a guy who seems to have almost superhuman tenacity. I mean, think of it this way. If any other Republican, Lou, that you and I could name was facing 91 criminal charges, is it not a fact that they would be in the fetal position, under the desk, whimpering? They would have pulled out of the race long ago. Trump is the only guy who not only seems unfazed, but he seems to get stronger. He thrives on this. And this is the part of it that inspires a certain sense of praised wonder on the left. So in some ways, their hatred of him, the Trump derangement syndrome, is a tribute to Trump because it is Trump and only Trump that produces this reaction in them.
Oh, absolutely. And what they cannot comprehend is that the American people support him by every major poll by an increasing margin every week. They have absolutely no doubt whatsoever about the intensity of their vote come November, and they mean to vote for Donald Trump. And that has them, as I put it, quaking. And I think we're going to see more, not less, fear and more rabid responses. Let me quickly touch on this. We're just about a minute. Missouri v. Biden, a very important First Amendment case. Your thoughts about the arguments today, very quickly, if you will, Dinesh.
Well, just very quickly, it seems to me that the whole notion that the internet has created a special situation in which the government is now required to do censorship because it's a new technology, and therefore the digital platforms are the new public square. I mean, look, if you go back historically, we had the telegraph, we had the telephone, we've obviously had newspapers, then the introduction of television, then cable. There's really no need to rewrite the First Amendment. Government needs to stay out of the censorship business. The Biden administration went before the court and tried to make the case that we are in a somehow new territory because of the web, because of the internet, and that censorship that was previously not allowed is somehow okay now.
And it's going to be a fascinating decision, and one that is going to, I think, be earth-shaking. No matter what they do, the future will be changed, and either for the good or for the bad. Dinesh D'Souza, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it so much. Thanks, Dinesh.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Coming up next, a new slavery reparations panel in New York. They found a new problem. And now, guess what? They've got the old solution. They're blaming white people, white folks, they call them. They're also going after Senator Tim Scott, of course. That's next. Stay with us. And an illegal immigrant crossing the border admits, well, he's not only an illegal alien, he's a Hezbollah terrorist. That's straight ahead.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back.
The MyPillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0. When I invented MyPillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. MyPillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature-regulating thread. MyPillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of MyPillow.
Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
MyPillow.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
And welcome back. You're looking at a man called Ron Daniels. He is the founder and the president of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. Pretty presumptuous title, don't you think? And Daniels blames white people, or as he called them, white folks, for climate change, and wants to defund the police. You've heard that before. And he calls Tim Scott Uncle Tim. Clever of Daniels, don't you think? Daniels is also on New York's new slavery reparations panel. Governor Kathy Hochul created that panel, you probably would like to know. Just last year, she called on New Yorkers to face their role in the painful legacy of slavery. Her words. What do you think about your role in the legacy of slavery? I think we should all think about that, because obviously most of us would come up with different conclusions than the panel has. Daniels was one of 3 panelists selected to guide this latest example of Marxist Democrat race hustling. Daniels is an anti-white, anti-American buffoon. That puts him at home in a party of buffoons, Marxist clowns, all of them deranged. And speaking of boats, Joe Biden has a new pair of boat anchor shoes, they're called. Wow, look at those babies. Biden's handlers have decked him out in shoes designed to provide more stability. Well, we know that would be a nice thing to achieve for him, but they look about as subtle as pontoons on an aircraft. Biden struggles to stay vertical doing his arduous tasks like walking or climbing a set of stairs on Air Force One, for example, even the short stairs. He recently almost took a spill while boarding Air Force One. Watch this. And remember, of course, all the while that this stumbling fool is destroying the United States of America. Elon Musk, by the way, weighed in. He summarized the stakes in a tweet, an X post, if you will, saying, quote, "There is either a red wave this November or America is doomed," end quote. Musk is succinct. He's also right. 4 more years of Biden would leave us stumbling deeper into 21st century disaster, and fancy shoes will not fix any part of that. Dr. Naomi Wolf is author, journalist, casting a light on the establishment and politics in America in 2024, and she joins us now. Naomi, great to have you with us. I want to get first your reaction to the boat shoes. That seems to have captured the American imagination. Your thoughts?
Gosh, I don't know if I would go as far as you did. I mean, boat shoes are kind of an annoying preppy trend for many decades, but I sort of think it's symbolic of a larger problem, which is we all recognize that there's really elder abuse going on by keeping this man who's so very frail and has so much difficulty with his memory and articulation in office in any way. I mean, he should be set free to go home. But to me, the kind of the symbolism of it is resonant the way that on the other side, the orangeness of President Trump is always being invoked. These little kind of sometimes irrelevant details really can represent all the issues any one side has with the other side.
And while the nation is captivated by boat shoes for the president, who frankly is having trouble navigating flat, dry land, it's remarkable to think that this president, with his boat shoes or not, is incapable of running the country. So we know that he's nothing more than a puppet serving his masters, including amongst them certainly Barack Obama, almost certainly. But we're also dealing with another extraordinary moment here, and that is the world's richest man, off and on, Elon Musk, has just weighed in on the future of the republic, saying that unless there is a red wave, not just simply a victory, but a red wave in November of 2024, that the republic is doomed. That's pretty straightforward talk for anyone, but certainly for Elon Musk, he's putting himself squarely in the limelight.
Yeah, it's pretty courageous of him. I mean, today the Supreme Court is discussing or deciding a case in which the White House leaned so hard on Twitter and Facebook to censor Americans and deprive them of their First Amendment rights, that for any tech company CEO or founder to put a stake in the ground like that is very courageous. Depending on who wins this fall, he's either going to be fine and in good shape or, their next target. We're supposed to be nonpartisan, but it is brave of him. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of people who were Democrats or independents agree that these people in office are not your grandfathers or your parents' Democrats or liberals. They are absolute Marxists, wholly owned. I believe this because I've said it before, wholly owned by China and by globalist interests. And we can see all around us the catastrophe that is unfolding for our nation, whether it's the crime in the cities, the open border, the attacks on our food supply, the attacks on our grid. It's just treason all around. So I think it was gutsy of him, and I can't believe that I can't believe I'm saying that as a lifelong Democrat.
Well, it is remarkable that he chose this moment, or the moment chose him. It's hard to tell which. But he is obviously speaking truth as he sees it, and doing so on X. We're also wondering a little bit about his courage, because he backs away from the statement in this regard, at least. He says he's not going to donate money to either Joe Biden or to Donald Trump, while at the same time saying for Joe Biden to prevail would destroy the republic. That is, to me, an intellectual contradiction of enormous dimension. And I don't think it's readily explained by Elon Musk or anyone else. What do you think?
Right. Well, respectfully, I see it differently. He's trying, to his credit, he seems to really believe in free speech, or at least he has not been silencing people on his platform the way that his colleagues silenced us previously. So I think, he's trying to do what a tech platform should do, which is be nonpartisan. And he's trying to signal that people who use X won't be dialed down if they're liberal or left-wing or Marxists, just like they won't be dialed up if they're right-wing or conservative. And that's the right thing. I mean, that's that's why it's so important to change the law so that these tech platforms are treated as utilities, like the phone company, instead of as publishers, right? That can censor some voices and heighten others. But I think he's doing all he can, just like I'm doing all I can. I'm supposed to be nonpartisan as well, but I'm doing all I can, given that my mission is to be nonpartisan, to say this is a catastrophe. And so you can say that there's a contradiction there, but I understand it. He isn't just a private citizen. He also, has an obligation to shareholders. And so that limits what he can say as well.
Yeah, I credit Musk for saying it. He's right, of course. And it's, to me, still inconsistent intellectually that he would not then choose to support Donald Trump. It makes no sense whatsoever in my humble view, or not so humble view, depending on how you want to look at it. Naomi, we always appreciate having you with us, and we thank you so much. All the very best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dobbs. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Up next, Border Patrol apprehending a man with ties to a terrorist group. He said he was headed for a major American city, one of the most major cities, the largest, in fact. Biden's policy of open borders is a time bomb just waiting to go off. Forgive the metaphor, but it seems apt in this case. And join us each and every day, 7 days a week, for my podcast, The Great America Show, available at LouDobbs.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We're coming right back. Please stay with us.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. Border Patrol agents in Texas caught an illegal alien from Lebanon who said he hoped to make a bomb. The illegal also said he's a member of Hezbollah, the terrorist group. He was headed for New York City when agents picked him up in El Paso. It's doubtful he was going to New York to sightsee. Mexican drug cartels are constantly finding new ways to get these terrorists across the border. In this video, you'll see how human smugglers stash backpacks and bags to avoid detection.
There's got to be like 50 backpacks in there. Whoa.
But instead of just leaving it strewn out across the country, they consolidated it, and they were able to use this place successfully for a longer period of time to remain undetected. Right? Well, what they'll do is they'll put denim around it. They'll cut their pants at the river, put denim, soak it in water, and it keeps it cooler for a longer amount of time. Landowners don't see it, people don't see it. And had they not bragged, they'd probably still be using it. Look at garbage. There's no telling how many thousand people came through here, seriously, because those garbage bags are filled with backpacks. And I'd say each of those backpacks probably represents one load, because they'll get the biggest backpack and just shove everybody else's backpacks in there that way. And again, conceal it so the landowners don't see it, so that landowners don't call us to notify us that, hey, something's going on our property. And I mean, it's significant. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen anything like it.
The man in that video is Sheriff Thad Cleveland. He's the sheriff of Terrell County, Texas, a retired Border Patrol agent, and he joins us this evening. And Sheriff, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Let's start with the level of the threat now. We've got people admitting, crossing the border, that they're Hezbollah and they intend to destroy lives and property in New York City. Is this actually getting that much worse?
It sure is. And every American should be concerned. Every American that's seen what's going on along our border should be concerned. And I'll tell you what, just like the rest of the southwest border, we in Terrell County have seen significant increases in illegal alien activities crossing here, not just apprehensions, but gotaways. You look what's been going on out in San Diego, California, where the number of Chinese nationals apprehended is outnumbering the amount of Mexican nationals apprehended. I mean, that's unheard of.
It is unheard of. And unfortunately, we're hearing lots of things that are unprecedented, including the decampment in northern Mexico of Chinese nationals by the tens of thousands who are there for some purpose. We do not know what or which, but we also know tens of thousands of Chinese nationals have crossed the border into the United States. Again, we don't know where they went or what their purpose, but in each instance, they're all military-age males. What in the world is going on?
You know, and to your point, it's no longer the U.S.-Mexico border. It's the U.S.-world border. Look, every country in the world is utilizing and exploiting the U.S.-Mexico border to enter in the United States. Some are coming in legally. And when I say that, our country, our own government, this administration is allowing them to come in and claim political asylum or some other political relief. Look, as we all know, the vast majority will not qualify for that credible fear or that political asylum. And to look at those, we still have the problem once we clear this up, once we get a new president, they're still trying to cross our border illegally. Those like the cross in my county that are looking to sneak in undetected, abscond when you encounter them, or if we encounter them on the highway, you know, they're looking to run and lead us in pursuit.
There's so little that you can do. Taking a look at your county and the number of people crossing that the illegal aliens and drug smugglers, you name it, who are coming across that border. How in the world do you even begin to contend with it?
Well, let me tell you some numbers real quick, if I may. So that last year, President Trump,
sure.
Compared to the first year in my county that the Biden administration took over, we had a 289% increase in just illegal alien apprehensions. The second year compared to that last year, President Trump, it was a 418% increase in illegal alien apprehensions. And then last fiscal year, it was still 188% increase. Even though the numbers lowered, still that significant of an increase. Then we have those that died trying to cross the border here. Historically, we'd have one a year. We've had 37 this last 3 years. This area is the busiest area between Del Rio, Texas to El Paso, Texas, which is 600 miles. But specifically to your point, what's helping us out here is our governor, Governor Abbott, what he's doing with Operation Lone Star, the money that he is able to fund us with to buy new vehicles, new equipment, to hire 2 new deputies. And I've got 2 deputy positions filled under Operation Lone Star. And then lastly, just the amount of resources he sent into the county with Department of Public Safety troopers, Texas and Parks and Wildlife game wardens, and then Texas military forces. That's what's making a difference here in Texas.
It's making a difference, and at the same time, the Biden administration is suing the state of Texas for interfering in immigration and border security. I mean, it's outrageous to think that the Biden administration, Marxist Dems all, have simply sided with the drug cartels who control that border, all 2,000 miles of it, and now you have to fight the Biden administration at the same time as you're fighting drug cartels, Chinese nationals who are manufacturing and distributing and smuggling into the United States fentanyl that kills over 100,000 Americans a year. We're talking about almost 500,000 Americans killed just in the time that President Biden has been in office.
Yes, sir. And to your point, look, President Biden and his administration have completely dismantled the U.S.-Mexico border, or as I mentioned earlier, the U.S. world border. The U.S. Border Patrol will turn 100 years old this year. It took them 6 months to just eradicate all policies that made the safest and most secure border we ever had. Also, I'd like to mention they've attempted to dismantle the relationship between the U.S. Border Patrol and the Texas government here, not just state, but local. And we're not going to let them do that. We're going to continue to work together tremendously. But I must mention on fentanyl, you know that Americans need to be concerned. We're continuing to see over 100,000 lives lost a year to that. I just had 2 fathers from Ohio and an uncle come down to Terrell County. I showed them the border. They learned more about what we see here in Terrell County. They got to see both sides, you know, the smuggling side and the humanitarian side. We actually saved a life of an illegal alien. But to your point, you know, how much longer is this going to go on? We need a new president, and Americans need to get active. And like you said, November 5th, they need to get to the ballot box and vote change.
Sheriff, we appreciate your time and all that you're doing for the state of Texas, your county, and for the country. Sheriff Cleveland, thank you very much for joining us. Up next, Democrats aren't happy with just wrecking domestic politics. No, they're actually going after our allies. Foreign policy is not exactly the long suit of this administration. For example, Israel and the audacity of the buffoons who make up the Biden national security apparatus. Their ignorance knows no bounds, but we do have an index for you. We call it the Biden Ignorance Index, and we'll show you how they're doing. It's fairly impressive. We'll be right back.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your My Pillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
And welcome back. The Marxist Dems have turned their backs on Israel, as you've noticed undoubtedly. Israel at war with genocidal Hamas terrorists. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer did something unprecedented for even a reckless Marxist Dem. He called for a new election in Israel. The Senate Majority Leader called for a new election in Israel. Suddenly, he's in charge of the Biden foreign policy. He might as well be, because no one else seems to have a clue, but he seems every bit as clueless, claiming the democratically elected Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is an obstacle to peace. Here is the ignorant Schumer on the Senate floor Thursday.
The fourth major obstacle to peace is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. As a lifelong supporter of Israel, it has become clear to me the Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. The world has changed radically since then, and the Israeli people are being stifled right now by a governing vision that is stuck in the past. 5 months into this conflict, it is clear that Israelis need to take stock of the situation and ask, must we change course? At this critical juncture, I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel.
It is amazing how the side that claims to care about protecting democracy and interfering with elections at the same time is perfectly copacetic with doing in Israel what it is trying to do here. That is, interfere in elections. Hypocrisy at its worst. And Joe Lieberman, a former Democrat senator from Connecticut, called out Schumer for being anti-Israel. And is he ever correct about this? Lieberman said it best, quote, for a U.S. senator, let alone the majority leader, let alone the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in Washington, D.C., to tell Israel that it's time to get rid of Netanyahu, that is outrageous. Indeed it is, Senator Lieberman. Indeed it is. And the rest of the Democratic conference best understand just how far this ignorant majority leader has gone. Netanyahu spoke out on the comment. He called it, I thought rather reservedly, inappropriate. And of course, it is. I would just as soon he had told Schumer and Biden and the whole lot of them to go to hell. Joining us tonight is Lee Smith. He's an author, columnist. He's been following this story, of course, and covering the war in Gaza. He joins us now to discuss it all. First of all, Lee, great to have you with us. I have to ask you, what was your first reaction when you heard that Schumer was calling for elections in Israel?
Well, I mean, my first impression was we've been hearing for the last several months that Joe Biden's issue here is Michigan, that the Arab American vote in Michigan is going to withdraw its support in 2024. And actually, as it turns out, it's not really about Michigan at all. We're talking about the Democratic Party. We're talking about not progressives, not the far left. We're talking about just Democrats. That includes the Senate Majority Leader, Charles Schumer. So their problem, of course, is not just Benjamin Netanyahu. Again, the Democrats have hated Netanyahu for going back to the Clinton administration. But to go after the prime minister at a time of war like this and to try to topple him at this point, it's entirely destructive. And it's they're targeting Israel, not just Bibi.
And the idea that they are attacking Israel, which is without question, as well as Bibi Netanyahu and the right in Israel, it's unprecedented. I can't think of a time in American history in which we have seen the power structure of the ruling party, because that's the way they're operating. They're as totalitarian as they can be, these Marxist Dems, whether they're in the Senate, the House, or whether they're in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, actually demanding a two-state solution, then demanding that Netanyahu stand for election. Is there anything beneath their ignorance?
Well, I mean, the Democrats have spent a lot of time and also a lot of money building up actually Democratic Party assets inside of Israel, which is very dangerous, not just for Israeli national security, but also for American national security. Let's remember, the crucial moment, and this is Barack Obama's Iran deal. Right. This is not just bad for Israel. It's also bad for the United States. It's primarily bad for the United States, in fact, insofar as it's the United States' role for more than half a century to protect vital energy coming out of the Persian Gulf. So the fact that Barack Obama did this is an enormous problem. And that's the real issue with Netanyahu, because Netanyahu is the guy who has really taken this burden upon himself to fight the Iran nuclear deal and to really stick it to Iran. And we see throughout the region, it's not just about Israel, but the Joe Biden administration has been backing off of Iranian assets, even as they're targeting American troops, whether this is in Iraq, whether this is in Syria. We see that the Houthis are setting the Red Sea on fire. And this is all thanks to not just Joe Biden, but dating back to Barack Obama. That's what today's Democratic Party is about. It's not the progressives. It's not just college students on the far left. It's not just the Arab American vote. It's about the de facto leader of the party, Barack Obama, and his avatar in the White House, Joe Biden.
And with that puppet now in the White House doing precisely what he's told, whether it be by Barack Obama himself or whether it be a council that sees fit to take on these foreign policy issues, at least in the name of Joe Biden, because we know that he hasn't the capacity to formulate any kind of an equation, and certainly not in foreign policy. But where we are now is a very dangerous place, because the Republican Party is, frankly, listing at this point, and without President Trump's leadership, the Republican Party is woebegone. There's no response from the Republican Party leadership itself. Certainly, Donald Trump responds, but the leadership in the Senate, the leadership in the House is absolutely MIA.
Right. Lou, we have a very big problem that you just put your finger on, and that is, let me put it like this: I think a lot of people don't understand who Donald Trump was. A lot of people who voted for Donald Trump, they didn't understand who he was in terms of foreign policy. A lot of Americans, a lot of people on the right, conservatives are right that we have a lot of problems with our own government, and these are the people who are causing most of the who have destabilized the United States. So it's true. The problem is in Washington, but we also have problems abroad. And it's important to remember that the people we have problems with in Washington, namely the Democratic Party, they are in fact partnered with American adversaries abroad, whether that's in Iran, whether that's with Hamas. Let's remember how much money the Biden administration has earmarked for the Palestinians. It's also about China as well. So I think a lot of people on the right need to come to a recognition that, yes, we have a lot of problems here at home, and our primary adversaries are the people who are hunting Americans at home, whether it's January 6th defendants, whether it's Donald Trump, the Republican candidate for president of the United States. We have many problems at home, but let's remember, we have real adversaries abroad. Republican lawmakers and legislators need to stand up and remind Americans that our problems are not just at home. America is a very large power. We're a bi-coastal power, and we have many problems across the world as well. Iran is not our friend. The Palestinians are not our friends. China is not our friend. Our problems in Washington are partnered with our adversaries abroad.
All right. And I think people have to understand that the Marxist Democrat Party is not an opposition party. They are an enemy of the United States right now, whether it be in foreign policy, domestic, whether it be their Marxist pursuits in terms of the destruction of our institutions, our families, our communities, whether it be what they are foisting on the world on the eastern flank of Europe, or whether it be the war between Russia and Ukraine, or the sponsored terrorism across the Middle East by Iran. You've nailed it as usual, Lee, and we appreciate your clarity, your analysis always. Thanks so much for being with us. Lee Smith.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you. And join us each and every day for my podcast, The Great America Show, available at LouDobbs.com, wherever you get your podcast. We will be available to you. And thanks for being with us this evening. Join us here tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central Time. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas and Tennessee, Congressman Andy Ogles joins us here. I hope you will as well. The Lindell Report coming up next. You don't want to miss it. Here's Mike. Good night, and God bless you.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.